All right, compliments of the season to all my viewers around the world. I pray that this Christmas meets us in peace, prosperity, good health, and I pray for many more great returns. You are welcome to The Truth with Ben Jokes, your favorite political talk show. Now, it is less than 72 hours to Christmas, and the mood in Nigeria is worse than ever this year. I remember during Buhari regime, people would complain and complain about the economy from January to December. But when it is Christmas, they would manage to switch up their lifestyles for at least 2 to 3 days. But as we speak, most Nigerians have reached their limits. The chickens are having a field day in the markets because most citizens cannot afford to buy them. And as I'm talking to you, civil servants in Nigeria have not even been paid the peanuts that they receive from the government. What a calamity. And few hours ago, protests against Wike erupted in the FCT. Doctors and other health workers in the FCT are about to shut down all the hospitals due to unpaid entitlements. This is the same FCT where corrupt judges are receiving mansions worth billions from Wike. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, a very sensitive matter that has generated war between Yorubas and the Fulanis burst out from the southwest. The Fulanis have now boldly come out to try to wrestle the southwest away from Yorubas, the same way they did in the north, using religion, using Sharia law. And this move has completely turned the southwest upside down. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you these videos. The first video here is that of Professor Yusuf talking about the stampede caused by hunger under the Tinubu regime after losing over 100 Nigerians in just 1 week. It's only normal for anybody with a bleeding heart to bleed and to weep over the current state of this nation. See the video.
I am deeply saddened, and any human being with a beating heart should be, that our people are turned into beggars 64 years after our independence, lining up to get grains from our politicians through the churches or whichever avenue they choose to give. This is a very rich and endowed country, and this is where we have descended. I'm truly saddened. My thought and prayers go to the families of the lost ones. But we shouldn't be seeing what we are seeing. The good book said, when the righteous are in power, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people groan. Millions of Nigerians today are groaning. They're hungry in this our land of plenty. I have been screaming this all across the land for the past 9-10 months here with some graphics that there is hunger in the land. Millions of Nigerians, predominantly women and children, go to bed hungry with no certainty of having anything to eat when they wake up. In this our land of plenty. And you come to Abuja, what do you see our politicians doing? Living it up. Look at the budget. All they're interested in is their creature comfort. Nigeria, this, the land I grew up in, the land that gave me all I got. We are now reduced to beggars by no less people than our leaders. This hunger is self-imposed. In a country that is not officially at war, in a country that we don't have famine, the rains have not failed. We have beautiful rain, but common rice is out of reach of the common man. When this government came to power, a bag of 50 kilos of rice was 8,500, now is hitting 90,000. What is the minimum wage? I tell you, 90% of Nigerian households cannot buy a bag of rice. So the government, from the state to the federal, they are weaponizing hunger. And you see, I go to Katsina, what do I see? I see a bag of rice with the face of the president, and I feel insulted. It's just like you see. Would you see the face of Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, on a bag of rice that is that they are giving, UN is given to refugees? These politicians are treating all of us, all Nigerians, as conquered people. And they are throwing grains at us.
You saw that. Nigeria, a land blessed with so much, yet citizens are wallowing in abject poverty and squalor. And the APC and Tinubu regime have tried to defend these unfortunate, disgraceful incidents of stampedes by blaming Nigerians. They are saying Nigerians, they don't know how to coordinate themselves properly. This is caused purely by hunger occasioned by this evil regime. IG of Police Egbetokun came out to say that anyone who wants to share anything henceforth must inform the police. Is informing the police the solution to a dying nation? Let us keep trying to deviate from the major issues, which is Tinubu's failure. It will soon be too late. By the time we enter that full-blown crisis, even the IG will not be spared. Next video here is that of Gbadebo Rhodes speaking on the introduction of GMOs in Nigeria, and he raised an important point that shocked me. I'll discuss that after the video. Let's take a look at the video.
My position on this is we must preserve our food sovereignty. Now, our food sovereignty comes from having our smallholder farms being able to plant seeds, save some of those seeds from their harvest, and replant again in the next season. Now, GMO takes that away because you have to buy seeds every year from these multinationals. And these seeds are priced based off dollars, right? So you understand where that puts us with our own currency situation. Then you have a situation where export markets are limited. You cannot export GMOs to Europe. If you grow GMOs in Russia, you are treated as a terrorist and criminalized as such, right? And you have a situation where the pesticides also have an effect on the land, right? Kill a lot of the natural bacteria of the soil that then prevents you from even growing a natural variety on that land again.
Right? Are these verified or they're suspicions?
These are verified. These are verified facts. I mean, if you look at any African country, you look at Burkina Faso, for instance, that used to grow BT cotton. They've gone through a whole process of trying to reverse it, right? Banning the growth of it, trying to replant it. But what this report highlights is the amount of interference in our food system being conducted by America through USAID, right? At the time, it sounded like conspiracy theory. So I'm very glad for the investigative journalism that has brought this to light, because there's only so much we can say. But the truth is, if you have a good product, you don't need to be creating lies to sell that product.
You heard that. The Tinubu regime is doing all it can to deceive Nigerians into accepting GMOs. They are working with these foreign organizations. And the point that Mr. Gbadebo raised that caught my attention the most is the effect of the pesticides used to grow GMOs on the soils. He said that the pesticides prevent you from being able to grow normal seeds on any land where GMOs have been grown because they destroy the land. So the aim is to condemn our soils to only GMOs. For God's sake, we have some of the best soils in the world. Why should we destroy them with GMOs? And everything is just beginning to add up. It is becoming clear that the champions of the GMO crusade are part of the sponsors of insecurity in Nigerian farms. They want to destroy our farming and crop production systems so that we would have no option than to accept GMOs. And these evil organizations are working with Tinubu and the APC to achieve this. What a tragedy, Nigeria. Why is the APC bent on totally destroying this country? I just can't understand. Now, let us look at details of the top stories. First is that update coming out of the FCT. Doctors rising against Wike for his failure to pay their entitlements. And next is that war between Yorubas and Hausa Fulanis over Sharia law. Let's start by taking that update from the FCT. Look at how the papers reported it. Salary arrears. FCT doctors give Nyesom Wike ultimatum, threatening total shutdown of hospitals. Sahara reporters. Doctors in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, have issued a 14-day ultimatum to the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, threatening a deadliest shutdown of hospitals if their demands are not met. The association outlined several demands, including clearing 6-month salary arrears for members employed in 2023, urgent payment of the 2024 Medical Residency Training Fund, and a review of the bonding policy from 6 years to 2 years. Other demands are: we want the minister to enforce the implementation of skipping and issuance of skipping letters to our members employed in 2023, immediate payment of accoutrement allowance for 2024, payment of outgoing 13 months hazard allowance arrears, and the FCTA management should fast-track conversion of ARDFCTA Post 2 members to consultants and expedite the process of employment of healthcare workers to buffer the manpower shortage in the nation's capital's hospitals, Dr. Ibong added. He emphasized the urgency of the demands, warning that failure to address them could lead to a collapse of the nation's health sector. This injustice is alien to FCT. If this is allowed to continue, the nation's health sector will collapse. We want the minister to solve the problems so doctors can practice to the best of their ability. Dr. Ibong reminded the minister that a 21-day ultimatum issued at the association's annual general meeting had already elapsed by 7 days, leaving 14 days to act. We don't want the deadliest shutdown that may lead to loss of lives. It is important that the minister listens and acts on demands without delays, he concluded. You heard that. This is the same FCT where billions of naira are being wasted on mansions for corrupt judges. They have issued a 21-day ultimatum, 7 days have gone. I am telling you, these people don't care. If you like, shut down all the hospitals in the FCT. They don't care because they don't treat themselves here. And if people are dying, it is their own joy. So it doesn't move them. And we are just bringing out all these things so that Nigerians can know the kind of people they are dealing with. So when we say that people have to unite and kick them out, let us understand why we are saying that. And this tweet here says, they are not lawyers, so they don't get luxury treatment of new homes and financial rewards. If you know, you know. That is it. Raymond here says, this Diobu Moto Park Agbero Wike never pay FCT doctors salaries, and him they busy they bribe judiciary with new houses and demolishing people's homes. Anumpama, I am telling you. Iroko here says, Wike will not do the job he's assigned to do, only to be grabbing land and making unnecessary media hype. He should do his job. He does not even have sense to do his job. Now just to wake up, drink, go to Aso Rock, misbehave. What a shame. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, these mighty updates came out of the Southwest. Fulanis have now come out boldly to try to wrestle the Southwest away from Yorubas the way they did in northern Nigeria, using religion, using the Sharia law. And the Yorubas are furious. They are saying that this will never happen in their land. Sharia law will never be accepted. Look at how the papers reported it. Sharia law. Yoruba youths reject introduction in region. The Yoruba nation youths, both within Nigeria and in diaspora, have strongly opposed plans to introduce Sharia law or establish Sharia courts in the southwest region of Nigeria. This stance was expressed in a joint statement by Yoruba National Youth Leader Diaspora, Prophet Ayodele Ologunloluwa, and the home-based leader, Comrade Oyegunle Oluwamayowa Omotoyole. The group affirmed their readiness to defend Yoruba ancestral land against any form of destabilization, including efforts to impose Sharia law. Their statement followed reports that the Supreme Council of Sharia in Nigeria plans to inaugurate a Sharia court in Oyo town on January 11, 2025. The event is slated to take place at the Muslim Community Islamic Center, Obadeyemi High School Road, Mobolaje area, Ogbongangan, Oyo, the statement declared, "We will resist any move to impose Sharia law or courts in Yoruba land. Yoruba culture and traditions are distinct, and any attempt to introduce alien laws will be met with fierce opposition." Describing the proposal as laughable, the group vowed to mobilize resistance if the plan moves forward. "We want the Nigerian government not to create divisions in Yoruba land. Our focus is on Yoruba nation self-determination, and we will not allow any external influence to derail our struggle." They emphasized that Sharia law is incompatible with Yoruba values, culture, and way of life. "We will not allow any attempts to disrupt the peace of Yoruba land under the guise of religious imposition." Expressing concern about potential destabilization and the rise of extremist activities, the group stated, "We reject any efforts to entrench practices that undermine our faith, values, and identity. We will resist the agenda with all our might." The Yoruba Nation youths also reaffirmed their commitment to establishing an independent Yoruba nation free from oppression. "No force on earth or in hell can stop the rise of a sovereign Yoruba state." They urged Yoruba citizens to remain vigilant and ready to defend their land from any external influence or imposition. You heard that. Now, I will not even pretend as if this is normal update. This is not normal news at all. This is very, very terrible for the Southwest. On 11th of January 2025, they have proposed to start a Sharia court in some part of Oyo State. And before they fixed that date, a lot has happened underground. Before you know now, you hear that there are some legislations that have already backed them to establish that court. If thousands of Yorubas don't turn up at that place, I am telling you, they will establish that court and they will start. And you know what it means to have Sharia courts in your province. Before you know it, they will begin to spread. This was the same approach that the Fulanis, from neighboring African countries used on northern Nigeria. Today, they have pushed the Hausas aside. They have taken up their lands. They have completely taken up their region using religion. You hear things like Hausa Fulanis now. Hausa Fulanis, they are now acting as if they are the same. Meanwhile, go to all the top positions in Nigeria occupied by northerners. You can't see any core Hausa man there. It's Fulanis that you find there. So this thing that these people were doing in the Southwest or have been doing in the Southwest like play, they now want to establish it. And it's just funny that everything is now happening when a Yoruba man is seated at Aso Rock. Under Buhari, they didn't, attempt to start Sharia courts in Yoruba land. It is under Tinubu that they are now talking about Sharia courts. Yorubas are in trouble in the hands of these people. Already, they are in their forests killing their people, chasing them to the major cities, Fulanis. Yoruba farmers came out the other day to cry out that their farms have been taken over by Fulanis. Now they want to start establishing their courts in Yoruba land. And Murayo here says, "We strongly reject any attempts to further this divide in Yoruba land. We say no to Sharia courts or laws. If you need Sharia courts, Nigeria is still one, but a boss to the north." And Olusegun Bakare here says, "Where are all our Lagos, not your Lagos?" He's talking about those who are saying Lagos belongs to Yoruba, not to Igbo. He said, "Come out now and defend your land." And Otumba here says, "We reject it and we will fight if not stopped." Omobayo here says, "The Yoruba ancestors originally referred to Muslims as Imale or Imole, terms that convey the notion of a compelling or forceful religion." Adepoju here says, "No part of Yoruba land will accept Sharia law. It doesn't matter if it is only for northerners living in the Southwest. Respect the law of our lands. And if you have to use Sharia law, fly your people to your region and use it there." Olugbemiga says, "Sharia law is not what Southwest needs. It will never stand as God liveth." Well, let's see how it goes. If there is anything I know about the Fulanis, it is that they are very, very resilient people. You cannot just say it will not work, then you go and sit down. Before you know it, we will have like 20 Sharia courts before March next year. So what you have to do is that thousands of Yorubas must turn up at that place they want to put that court, and you have to confront them violently, because talking will not even fix it. And it's such a shame that all this is happening with Tinubu in office. But this is the APC. They have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And that is why we keep telling Nigerians that for us to have a country, even have a country at all in the near future, we must come together and get the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news. Will not go like. Why? Because now, because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away. Sorry.